Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. From the onset, allow me to thank you for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a country. The scenes at Melvin's Academy, where Butere girls were to perform their play entitled Echoes of War, are really very shocking. And because of a supremacy battle between President William Samoei Ruto and a small man, the former Secretary General of UDA, Butere Girls High School have been denied a chance to perform at the national levels. They have been denied their rights. I want us to watch some of these videos and you will conclude with me very authoritatively but very humbly that we do not have a country. By yesterday, there was a court order that Malala had presented to the head of DCI Nakuru County. And the head of DCI was stranded in the middle of a court order and an order from above. He was torn between obeying a court order na mwage unga or obeying the orders from above and gets himself in trouble because of a possibility, an imminent warrant of arrest. So what they did, they played some mischief. They allowed the Butere girls to get to the venue, but denied Malala and the director that was to direct the play a chance to be there. I don't know whether Malala was kidnapped or he was under house arrest. I don't know where he was. I've not seen him anywhere. So Butere girls went there without their costumes. They were just told, okay, there is a court order. You think you've won this battle, but we're still with you. So they just went and they didn't even know how to start because this play must have a director, they must have their last rehearsal. So Butere girls was also very wise enough. What they did, they went and performed the national anthem. They sang the national anthem and decided to ilikuwa mgomo baridi. At the gate, there was the presence of a heavy contingent of police. You would think that we are dealing with a very imminent threat like Al-Shabaab. And journalists were Teargas. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to watch this account one by one. First, let's begin at the gate. What happened at the gate? And tell me whether we are dealing with mere school, students or some thugs.
The door is being locked by a chain. We are putting it on the lock and chain. As you can see, this is what they are doing currently. It's interesting to see this is the first bus that is being allowed to gain entry into this place. Other school buses have been forced to park their vehicles on the other side of the feeder road. So we are hearing the crowd chanting and celebrating. Yes, clearly, I can confirm to you that this is Butere Girls High School. They have arrived here. As you can see, journalists were not being allowed to gain access here. We've been barred from accessing this place. Yes, these are police officers who are barred from accessing. So clearly, this is the situation, as you can see. Butere girls have just arrived. The journalists have been barred from accessing the Melvin Jones Hall, where the play is supposed to take place. And interesting to note is that this is the only bus that has been allowed to gain entry into this place. Most students, earlier on in a video that I shared, we've seen them carrying their props from their buses to this place. So we are going to hold fort here for some time and update you for anything that will come up.
You see, after the journalists were denied entry, the former Defense Minister Eugene Wamalwa arrived with the lawyer, Malala's lawyer, or the lawyer that was representing Butere girls. They insisted they wanted to get in because after Butere girls they had stayed Mgomo Baridi hapo, they were forced into their car. They were in their bus. But the police did not want to allow them out. And the police did not want to allow anyone in. So there was that standoff. The more they were delaying, the crowd was swelling. So after Malala and the group insisted, they allowed the Butere girls to the bus to walk, to drive out. But the crowd had already swollen, and they were given a heroic reception as they were walking out. That even worsened the situation. And at some point, the police was overwhelmed.
Habari, madam. Madam, how are you? Yes, would like to go in with this girl. Butere girl. Pole. Nataka tuwasalimu, nasikia wamezuiliwa. Sasa watu tuwasalimu ndio watoke. Tuwape soda wakunywe barabarani. Si ndio tunataka tuwasalimu watoke.
Nataka kuangalia we don't know even their condition.
Wanarudi Kakamega, tuwape tu soda warudi nyumbani, wamezuiliwa.
Askari, hata we ni mama, hao watoto wamelia kwa stage, hawaja perform. We just want to see their condition. Yes. Ignorant can you be as a policeman? Today it's them, tomorrow it's you.
Madam, turuhusu mawakili wawili, wengine wangoje hapa.
Sasa hata wewe pia unatuelewane? Uko nafasi hapa, hii basi inatoka nje. Hapana, basi kutoka nje sisi tuko na uwanja kwa. Tunaelewana kitu gani? Sasa yeye hata usisalamie, tunataka kwenda ndani. Don't greet us. Sasa
turuhusu mawakili
tuingie hapa, sisi mawakili.
Yes.
Wacha tuingie tutoke na basi.
Yes. Tunataka tusalimu
watoto wakiwa ndani.
Wamezuiliwa, wanarudi Kakamega.
Na hawajaperform. Already they have not performed.
Na sisi
bwana, twende tu wawili peke yetu. They have not performed.
Yes, already.
Hapana, tunataka tufanyie hapa ndani boss. Tunataka tufanyie tu hapa ndani. You know you are frustrating us. No. It's about our rights.
Just allow me and the lawyer wasalimu, wape lunch, warudi Kakamega, wamezuiliwa kufanya. Wengine wabaki nje. Hata wanahabari wabaki nje, lakini sisi tusalimu watoto waende nyumbani. Wawili tu, wengine wanaweza.
No. They are very patriotic. When they were forced, they just sang national anthem and left.
They've been frustrated.
Your supporters, they have not performed because the conditions will not allow them to perform. How will they perform without depots? How will they perform without a sound system? How will they perform without costumes? So constructively, they have been blocked, and government is in contempt. When it gets to ingie,
how can they be afraid of children?
No. The target was Butere girls. Once the girls have left, you will see all of them.
All the police will leave.
Will leave. Because the rest of the players are staked in the praise of Kasongo. It's only Butere girls that was objective, constructive, and trying to tell the government what it is. Once they leave, you saw the police officers leaving.
Will this affect the integrity of the drama festival?
It has affected the integrity of the government, the integrity of the process, the integrity of the festivals. Who then will trust drama festivals? These children who are being prevented are our leaders tomorrow. These are our voters. And you still have to trust that this government has a chance of getting re-elected? Not in this era.
Madam,
Usisonge mbele sana. Simama tu mahali huko. Kuna zoom bwana.
Kuna zoom bana.
Simama tu mahali huko.
Acha ujinga.
How are you?
Simama mahali huko. Hakuna kusonga.
My name is Eugene.
Ndio sawa. Ndio hawa wanakuja.
Tusoge kwa haya nasema.
Moja imefanya.
Oh Mariamu. Tuende tupafomia kwa showground.
No Cleophas, no drama. Kieleweke.
Ai, kieleweke bwana. Nigeni marisasi mkitaka. Wewe!
Now the crowd forced the Butere, girls to alight because they wanted, the journalists were there, I think TikTokers and all that. People really wanted Kenyans to understand what had happened. And so the girls alighted, and that is how they explained that they were never allowed a chance to perform because no one can tell you to go to the stage without costumes, without your director. So as they were explaining that, and the crowd was swelling, the police called for reinforcement, and they started throwing live tear gas at the school, the school girls, and they were forced back into the bus. Some of them were left behind, and they were now forcing the vehicle to go away. It was pathetic.
Can you please tell us what has happened inside there? Can you please tell us what has happened inside there?
They took us to stage, we were harassed by the police. Yes, they took us to stage with nothing. Nothing. Not even jackets. Nothing. We sang our national anthem and we said we are not performing without our rights.
We are just mere
That's our rights.
What is happening? What is happening?
We cannot get our performance. We haven't been.
Madam, tunaweza kutandikwa. Relax, relax.
Hatuwataka kuwadanganya askari. Watumika vibaya. Watumika vibaya sana. Oya!
Fungua dirisha. Fungua, fungua. Fungua. Fungua sema.
Watu wengine tunaacha
Ambia dereva.
na wanafunzi tumewaacha. Wanatufanyia Teargas watoto.
Imani ingia.
And ladies and gentlemen, I've said because of a battle, a supremacy battle between Malala and William Samoei Ruto. This is happening. Some people are arguing that Malala prepared his bed, he must lie on it. That he chewed more than he can swallow. But then I'm not looking at it that way. I know there is this argument that Malala had gone to bed with William Ruto and therefore he has to suffer. But my point is, look at the children. You can remove Malala for a while. Look at the children who are performing this play. Some people might say that Malala was fighting a war using the Butere girls as a shield. But I don't think so. I've always told you that there is nothing new. There was nothing new that Malala and the Butere girls were going to say. If it is the lies, some Kenyans believe that Ruto is very economical with the truth because he promises a lot, but people believe that he implements very little. People have always said Ruto must go, Ruto must go. And that is the song that you said. That there was nothing new. You know, even the media, the church and all that have always said that William Ruto is economical with the truth. The children should have been given their rights. There was no need targeting the children. And sometimes when there is a court order, we really need to obey that court order holistically. And as the lawyer is saying, we cannot interpret the law the way the president and his clique would want it to be implemented. The law is the law.
To watch what is right in the eyes of the president, we cannot watch what is right in the frame of mind of Kenya Kwanza. We're here as Kenyans to make a statement that these police officers can tear gas us. Yes. These police officers can kill some of us, but they will not kill everyone. Yes. One of these fine days, the young people of this nation will arise against this oppression. Yes. If our forefathers had feared these police officers, Kenya will not be independent. We don't fear. Yes. The only thing we fear is fear alone. Yes. We cannot allow to be intimidated. Yes. They are forcing those girls to go on stage without their costumes, without their decors, without the sound system. Lights have been switched off in the main hall, so the girls cannot act in peace. They want them to act in 10 minutes instead of 25 minutes and leave for Butere. This is the kind of oppression that we must stand and say no.
What is the status of Cleophas Malala at the moment?
Cleophas Malala, I spoke to him last night, but then they took his phone. I went to the Nakuru Central Police Station. They refused that I could not access him, but I used my own means and techniques to reach him. I spoke to him. This morning, I again spoke to him through my own means, and he has been moved to Eldamaravine. He is not in Nakuru. And their strategy is simple. Move him across police stations, let the girls perform under very satanic circumstances, and let the girls leave and release Malala at 2 p.m. But we are moving to court this morning. Once the court is out, we'll be in court to make an application of habeas corpus, produce the body of Malala, whether dead or alive. The High Court is proceeding on vacation, but I am sure that under certificate of urgency, another judge or the judge.
The lawyer's right is saying power is transient. Today it is you, tomorrow it will be someone. This is exactly what William Ruto told the Uhuru and his group when they felt that Uhuru was frustrating them, all because they were not reading from the same script. And he predicted that power is transient. Uhuru is now out of power. People like Matiang'i are no longer there. But he's forgetting that he will also become a victim. He's now in charge. Listen to what Ruto said back then, where he was warning the Uhuru camp that a time will come when they will be out of power and things will be different.
Share in the belief of those who hold the levers of power today. And I want to promise them that power is transient. And the people of Kenya will overcome. We will not submit to your threats and blackmail. We will not bow to you. We will not worship you. We worship the living God in heaven. We worship no human being. Asanteni sana.
Whoever is advising William Ruto is not doing him a good job. When the situation is volatile, we live in a country where any little trigger always attracts the attention of Kenyans. Then you just leave the sleeping dog lie. You don't have to awaken it. In fact, if William Ruto wanted to beat Malala in his own game, he would have allowed Malala to perform, the Butere girl to perform that play. In fact, they would have been selected again if they were to win in that category. Then they would play in front of William Ruto at State House, because always those who become winners at the national level in each category, solo, chorus, I don't know, they are categories in different ways. They are always given a chance to perform before the president. And the president would have just told them, sasa nyinyi, mnataka kuniharibia. The way he always says, this is what I said earlier. Instead of abducting the Gen Zs who are saying Kasongo or Mwizi, Ruto would have just said, sasa nyinyi mmenipatia majina mingi sana, mara Zakayo, Kasongo. When you make joke out of it, then you neutralize everything. Instead of taking, you're building a mountain out of a molehill. As a leader, you'll be given names. Even in school, we had nicknames. We had branded our teachers' nicknames. And I wonder why some people advise William Ruto to use Teargas on children just because they have to perform something that looks like a mockery to William Samoei Ruto. The rights of the children have been denied. And if someone is still telling William Ruto that dictatorship is the order of the day, we are in a new dispensation. And all Kenyans must rise up and condemn this. Because I can assure you, today it is Butere girls, tomorrow it will be you. We still have a government that feels that we are in the Nyayo era, where things are done in their own perception. Despite a constitution that is there, they feel it is either the way of the executive or the highway. And this is not right. This is not right in the sense that we have seen a government, the head of state, that says, I will not obey court orders. We have seen the head of the executive that feels that he knows everything. When he decided that they were to vaccinate the cows in Kenya, he said he's learned, and those who are going against that are foolish. When some people went to court to try and challenge the housing levy and even the transition from the NHIF to the Taifa Care, he said they will not allow you. We are being led in democracy, but the democracy is on the paper. Yesterday I told you, I remember the book that Oginga Odinga, the first vice president, published. He wrote a book, Not Yet Uhuru. We still don't have the independence that we're talking about, 62 years down the line. I watched those videos, those scenes. They are very, very pathetic, especially when students are involved. And I dare say that our policemen lack what to do. They have got more serious issues to deal with, rather than going there and they are escorting vehicles in carrying guns. That those are students. What is the threat profile of Butere girls? What is the worst they could do after performing the play? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we really need to call the president to order, because there are several things that the president needs to do. He promised Kenyans quite a lot. He has roads to complete, electricity to connect, debts to pay. We still don't have enough money going to the county level. The governors are crying out. The capitation fee does not reach school on time. And yet we stoop this low to start fighting. These are wars that Ruto should not condescend to the level of fighting. After that play, people would have talked about it and inaisha hivyo. I don't know whether I'm wrong on this, but we should not allow ourselves to get to this level. Kenya is a great country. We have a great constitution. That was wrong in every sense, in every sphere. It was wrong. And for those who are advising the president, please tell the president to focus. If I were the president, I would have treated these as sideshows. I would have not allowed it to dissuade me from what I'm doing. But as always, maybe the president is not serious. I don't know what his fears are. I don't know. It is not new that people feel that anajua kila barabara lakini hakuna contractors pale. It is not new ya kwamba watu wanasema ataendelee kupeana ahadi ambazo hatimizi. It's not new. I don't know what you think, but these actions must face condemnation from every Kenyan of goodwill. That's my take.